Welcome to the flow of money. Last week we introduced the first of our micro series on the flow of money. We discussed the virtuous cycle to create wealth, or more accurately, based on our previous definitions of wealth we built in the last series, our virtuous model created endless forward days. You recall the definition was quite long. Wealth is our organised capability to cope effectively with the environment in sustaining our healthy regeneration and decreasing both the physical and metaphysical restrictions of the forward days of our lives. We're going to be working with a gross simplification of that definition throughout the rest of the series. We're going to be saying that building forward days and having the mindset and health to enjoy them. So building forward days and having the mindset and the health to enjoy them. You can see we've encapsulated much of the original definition, but we've lost a bit too. But that's cool for this episode, this series. We've got enough, I think, there. Okay, so in this second episode of our micro series, we'll start to build on the virtuous cycle. You recall it looks a little like this. Where our investments provide us with enough income, forward days, to enjoy our desired lifestyle, and sufficient excess to protect our investment against the ravages of inflation. We'll be back at this diagram by the end of the micro series, but this week we'll be going back to basics and building money flow from scratch. In the process, we may well learn the keys to cash flow. As you can see illustrated, income is dissipated between expenses, purchases and tax. Today, we'll look briefly at tax. They say that death and taxes are inevitable, yet only one is really. In my view, tax should not be avoided because as a society we enjoy the infrastructure that our taxes pay for. The good part of tax is that for most of us, even at the highest rate of tax, if we get paid $1, we also have $1 to keep. Given the choice between death and tax, I think I prefer to pay $1 of a tax and keep $1. Kerry Packer said to a Senate hearing that he considered it his Australian duty to minimise the amount of tax he paid. We don't have the money to minimise tax like Kerry Packer, but like any other money flow item, tax should be managed and legally reduced to the minimum. Well, how should we do that? I think it's really simple. It can be achieved by following two basic rules. Keep good records and seek good advice. I'm sorry I can't make things more complicated, but tax is pretty simple. You have to know what you can claim and you have to be able to prove it. With these two elements in place, you'll be able to pay the smallest legal amount of tax. Structuring for tax is also sensible, but only if it's done sensibly. Whilst tax is an important consideration, investment decisions must be made based on the investment, not its tax treatment. For example, I've met a number of people who had forestry investments. Well, they were fully deductible, which meant that they were very popular with accountants and people who thought that they were paying too much tax. The forestry horticultural managed investment sector had based their business model on continued fund flows. When the government huffed and puffed about disallowing the deductibility of investments, the funds stopped flowing and many of these managed investment schemes failed, costing the investors their money. I wonder how many investors would have put their money into these schemes based solely on investment performance. The investment performance was a promise of some of your money back plus a bit of growth in 10 years. I expect that the rules we have learned about tax will be recurring throughout this series. And the rules are, keep good records and seek good advice. Next week, we'll be looking at expenses. Welcome back. We've got Sanjeev Singh with us, who's going to help us with the reverse interview. Sanjeev, you run an education company. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. I run an institute called Silk Education and Training. We specialize in work-based program, mainly in hospitality, retail, business and management, similar to traineeship and apprenticeship programs. All our training is at the workplace, so we design customized solutions for individual employers.
Okay, that's cool. Now, you're a regular watcher of the show, aren't you?
Absolutely, love it.
Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, that's why you're here.
Yes.
You're representing our audience. Now, you've seen the previous two segments. What questions flow from that for you?
Sure. I watched your earlier show with Keith, and he said SMART goals are for businesses. So why does Dale like them? Okay, that's a really good question. Yeah. I'm glad we've asked someone who's knowledgeable in relation to Wealth Plan TV. Okay, so it's can I say that it really doesn't matter?
It does, but only on the periphery.
Okay.
What the important thing is that you set goals, and there's some rules about that. Now, SMART goals are goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Yep.
So Keith uses the term target,
Yep.
and target is really just another mnemonic to try and make setting goals for people easy.
Okay.
But the truth is, it doesn't matter, just do it.
Okay.
Let's stay with SMART. Keith says that SMART goals should be smarter because you have to find your passion.
Okay.
Right? And that's absolutely true. There's no point in setting a goal that says, I want to walk around the river every day if you hate walking. Right?
Yep.
That's not going to happen.
That's right.
If you've got a passion for fitness and you've got a passion for walking and you like nodding at people as you pass them, hey, that's a good goal.
Yep.
All right. So you set goals about things that are important to you.
Yep.
If they're not important to you, your goal is always going to fail.
Yep.
So I think that what Keith was referring to when he said smarter goals is find your passion, which of course Keith
That's
is
correct.
absolutely spot on for, isn't it?
Yep. That's his. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of how it works, I think.
Okay. Yep. So, what do you think is the most important thing about goal setting?
We've covered a little. So
Yep.
you have to have passion. Once you find your passion, set a goal to achieve it. Your goals are generally or can be pretty big, right? So let's assume we're setting a big goal of I want to be successful. I want to be successful isn't a goal because it can't.
Yep.
It's difficult to measure, so you have
That's
to break
right.
it down.
Yep.
So the first thing about goals is breaking them down.
Okay.
Now, if I was to say to you, Sanjeev, how would you eat an elephant?
That's
Being
right.
a knowledgeable person, you'd say one bite at a time.
Yes.
So when you look at eating an elephant, it's an impossible task. But when you consider that everything is just one
Yeah.
bite at a time, it becomes easy. So that's a good way of understanding breaking them down. How do you walk 100 miles?
Start with the first step.
Start with the first step. And that's exactly the same thing. So if you have a big ambition,
Yes.
break it down into little bits that are manageable. That's where the SMART comes in, right?
Yeah.
So the goals have to be specific, manageable, but the thing, we're going to forget the rest of SMART, timely. So they actually have to be timed.
Yes.
Another thing in relation to goals which is important is actually stating them positively as if they've already been achieved.
Yes.
Now, some people don't emphasise this as an important element of goals, but I think it is. I think you fool your subconscious mind. So if you say, I am successful because in sales I sell 5 widgets a week,
Yep.
then even if you're only selling 3 widgets a week, if you keep telling yourself this story,
That's correct.
okay, you don't say, I don't want to not sell 3 a week, all right?
Yes.
So you pose them positively. So,
Positive. Yep.
I'm 5 kilos too heavy. I want to lose 3 kilos. So I don't say, I want to lose 3 kilos.
Yes.
You say, I weigh 83 kilos because I eat sensibly.
Yes.
All right.
That's right.
So it's a matter of turning the goals around. Firstly, passion, bit at a time, stated positively,
Yep.
stated as if it's already happened. And
That's
they're the key elements.
Yep.
But I say again, it doesn't really matter. If
Yep.
you've set an imperfect goal, who gives?
Yes.
You've got a goal.
Yes.
And as long as you work to it.
That's right.
The last little bit is that you actually have to remember the goals.
Yes.
So putting them on a 3x5 card is absolutely a good idea. You can pull them out of your pocket and you can say, okay, well, my goal is to weigh 83 kilos. And if you do that 4 times a day, sorry, that was
right.
wrong. I weigh 83 kilos because I eat sensibly.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
every
Yep.
day. Then when you go to get your lunch,
Yep.
you're more than likely to buy a fruit
right.
salad rather than a McDonald's.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's on your side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sanjeev, look, that's really good. Thank you for your questions. They've
Oh, my
been
pleasure.
really insightful and they've helped us a lot.
Thanks for your
And best
information.
of luck with the education company.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for joining
Kerry.
us. I hope you've enjoyed this show on goals. Next week, we'll be speaking about outs and ins or cash flow. I'll see you then.